Hello. So in this episode of Minor Musings, we're going to deal with the question of whether or not citations are a good guarantee of accuracy in an argument. The short answer is no. Actually, unlike most Minor Musings questions, this hasn't come from a student. This has come from a fight I was having on Facebook. Someone asserted that because a meme didn't cite its sources, and there was actually a great conversation to be had about generic genre conventions, but that's a separate video. But he asserted because this meme didn't cite its sources, its argument is fundamentally untrustworthy. The problem with that is that it's simply not true. So an argument can be correct and not cite any sources, or it can be incorrect and cite sources. So sources themselves, citations, the purpose of a citation is to let a reader or a viewer check where you got your information. So it's a useful tool, but it's not in itself a guarantee of accuracy. So I want to give you a couple of examples of this. So one is a very sort of small scale practical one. If I say to you, it's 72 degrees outside, I'm not citing any sources. I'm making a positive claim. Now, I could say, I know it's 72 degrees because that's what my phone says, my phone with the weather app. I could say it's 72 degrees, and I know that because I went outside with a thermometer, I saw it on the Weather Channel, whatever it is. At which point I'm citing a source to support the credibility of my claim, but whether or not I'm right is not affected by whether I have that citation. I can say it's 72 degrees out and I can be right whether I tell you how I know that or not. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a larger scale example about how you can cite sources and still be wrong. The US health insurance and pharmaceutical industry has spent decades telling Americans that the Canadian health system is inefficient and terrible and people are unhappy. None of that is true. They've cited sources, but if you were a very clever critical reader and you followed up those sources and you interrogated their methodology, you'd see that they consistently misrepresented, they consistently chose small sample sizes, they consistently cherry-picked data in unreliable ways. And we actually know this in part because recently a guy named Wendell Potter, who was formerly with Cigna, I think, with an insurance company, I think it was Cigna, he recently has come out during the coronavirus pandemic and said, here's why the American healthcare system is so bad, because we've systematically spent decades convincing people to believe things that weren't true, and we knew when we were doing it that we were convincing people to believe things that aren't true. So, even though they had citations and they provided sources, their argument was fundamentally misleading. So that's one thing that you want to be thinking about. Citations are useful, but they don't prove that something is true.
As always with Minor Musings, if you found this advice useful or helpful, please let me know. And if you have additional questions or things that you want to get some feedback on, get some advice about, you can either shoot me an email at phillipzapkin@gmail.com, or you can post a comment on any of my Minor Musings videos. Thanks for watching.